Sure. Okay? Eat well? Sleep good? Complain correctly? Does anybody complain here? You know what to do if you want to complain, right? Stick a straw ham in a glass of tea and drink it. By the way, I have a lot of complaints to make, but since the regulation here is very funny, so I don't complain. Okay, let's get on with Shiva. Oh, I just look at you and I feel so thirsty. You run around all day and doing nothing. Enjoy your honeymoon. Yesterday, I supposed to come and see the one who left today, but I couldn't make it. So I thought, too bad. Go to where, you know. Anywhere you want. Just go anywhere you want. Go home. This is very hot. Wow, it's too hot. Even for an enlightened master, it's too hot. Oh. Are you alright? You don't feel tired? No. Not with the time changing and everything? No. Really? You're so great. I suppose I'm the only person that is tired in this whole congregation. I just don't know why I get tired. Don't do anything. Just hang around, sit around, let people love and admire, clap their hands. Okay, let's see if we can work further. That is very difficult. Last time was 20th, right? Yeah. Okay. 21 already? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, 22. You remember, huh? Yeah. Shiva was talking to Devi, his wife, about many different ways to control the wandering mind in order to be one-pointed, yeah, so that we can get inner peace, the peace inside our heart that we desire. Now, there were 112 ways. Last time we made it only to 21. Now we continue. Number 22, the method, the way is to try to consider any part of your body as limitlessly spacious. For example, we look at the finger, huh? And we see just a little round stuff here, a very small form. But you should consider again. Why are you laughing? You're laughing at me. And then consider until the finger becomes boundless. Yeah? With no frontier, no limit. And at that time, of course, you have already entered samadhi. Understand? It's not because you consider with your crossed eyes that your finger became spacious, but because you have enlarged your consciousness, you have set free your real self. Thus, you have felt everything in the universe is spacious, limitless. Okay? Got it? Yeah. Actually, whenever you can concentrate on anything, that you have become so spacious like that, that is a samadhi. No problem. There are 84,000 ways of concentrating. In fact, practically everything that we do in this life, or everything that exists in this world is a method of practice. Just because our mind is so very, very hindered by our own prejudices and our own pattern of habit. Yeah? For example, if we sit anywhere, then immediately we begin to notice that our mind wandering all around the world without airplane tickets. In other words, illegally traversing many countries' frontiers, without pass. So, whenever we try to do something, our mind never concentrates there. That's why the world people are very, very busy from 8 to 5, from 10 to 6 or whatever, and still the world is in chaos. And most of the time when we work in a company or in our house or in the business, our mind is not absolutely there. So we should get paid only half of the wage, or maybe even 1/4 or 1/5 of it, to be honest. Yeah, that is why since ancient times all the master has advised us to spend at least 1/10 of our income for charitable purposes, so that we clear the debt of our unintentional incurring sin. Yeah, for example, when we drink coffee too long, we chat too long over the coffee break and we didn't realize it. We didn't do it on purpose, but still we incur the debt from the company that we get paid too much for our little time and little effort. All right? So anyhow, the Buddha has said that there is no method that is not a Buddhist method. And there is nothing that is defied in this universe except our own mind, our own heart, which has been defied by our own habit, by our own karma, our own way of life, our incorrect way of thinking, of behaving. And that's why we perceive everything in such a defied way, in such an incorrect way. Thus, if we want to get back to the purity of the kingdom of God or Buddha nature, we should by all means always try to be centered, to be concentrated, in whatever things that we are doing at that moment. In that way, at least, we are always concentrated. If we can't be concentrated on the holy method that our master has taught us, at least we are concentrated in some way so that ourselves is purified and not to be thinking of any other useless pursuits and mundane and defiled ways that make us more and more hindered and make it harder and harder to go to the kingdom within, to find peace and happiness. Because without peace and happiness inside, it's very difficult to take care of the daily business or to do anything meaningful at all. Even to play golf or to play football or to play basketball, tennis, everything. The player must be absolutely concentrating on what he's doing. Is that not so? Yeah. The one who wins is the one who practices well and concentrates. Put all his heart and mind in that practice. That's how he wins. Yes, there's no secret. There's no secret, or maybe no genius about that. Of course, maybe some are more subtle than others. Maybe their body is more equipped with suppleness so that he can bend faster and make a swifter response to the opponent. But nevertheless, with practice and concentration, the other can do it as well. Perhaps that person was already born with more concentration and less, wandering thoughts, as other people do have. And then it happened that he likes football as his only interest in life, or maybe he likes tennis, or maybe he likes any other thing. Yeah? And then with the one-pointedness, concentration, and no other interfering desire or thought in between. So he plays football excellently. There is a film about a person who plays, what do you call ball when somebody catches and the other one? Huh?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, baseball. And there was a man named Nebraska. Huh? Do you know that film?
The cornfield, where they had a baseball field in the cornfield.
I don't remember. What's the title of the film? I forgot. But that young man, he plays ball like nobody has ever seen. And he was a champion of baseball. Because after all, I find out that he has nothing else in his mind. He rejected the whole world because he has perhaps unhappy childhood or something like that. And then because of his rejection to the world, he closed everything and just thought of the ball. Perhaps by this concentration and through his disadvantage of his unhappy childhood, it turns out that he has the advantage of concentrating. Therefore, he wins in every game and became the superstar in the film. But perhaps that film was based on a true story of some superstar in baseball. Okay? Now, let's come back to the Himalayas and see what she was doing. We don't play baseball here. All right. Number 23. Feel your substance, meaning your form, your physical being, such as bones, flesh, blood, all are saturated with cosmic essence. It is another way of considering that all your nerves and senses are made with light. Yeah? It's very similar, okay? But perhaps he has to make a beautiful poem out of this, so one sentence by one sentence. He brought the audience, Devi, into the understanding of spiritual practice. Nevertheless, if he repeated something again and again, it doesn't do any harm anyhow, because we need repeating. Our karma, our bad habit has been repeated over many, many thousands of years. So if the master repeats only a few times of one good thing, it's not much. Sometimes it's not even sufficient to wash away all of our residue of garbage. Alright, number 24. Suppose, okay, you can imagine your form to be an empty room with walls of skin only, and inside is, guess, what? Nah, empty. Number 25. Now, he remembered her. So he reminded himself that she's great. So he said, blessed one. Devi is the blessed one. This is a respected form to call somebody who is so blessed, who is so enlightened, who is so loved by God. Understand? That means the enlightened one. Blessed one, as senses are absorbed in the heart, reach the center of the lotus. Now I don't understand this. Do you? No, okay, then let's forget it. Why should we bother about something we don't like? I think you understand, huh? What he meant is by, physically forgetting yourself. Yeah? It's just like all your senses are absorbed in the concentration. In the heart, it means in the concentration. Yeah? And then, enter the center of lotus means enter the center of wisdom. Lotus means the purity. The purity of ourselves is the wisdom center, is a real being, is a Buddha nature, or the kingdom of God. That's why I told you all the names are just the same thing for one unique glory. Okay. Reach the center of lotus means reach samadhi, reach Buddhahood, reach Buddha nature. Now, number 26. Now, with the unminding mind means you are not particularly focused on anything. You just sit there and keep in the middle, meaning keep centered until finally it happens. What happens? You paint your body all over and become colorful. Okay, what happens is at that time you become lost. You become lost in samadhi. You lost in the essence of the universe. You become still and all-pervading. All right. All this is just a description of samadhi state, of the state of finding yourself becoming one with God. So very easy. Easy to say, I mean. I wouldn't say easy done. Number 27. When you are in the worldly activities, keep attentive between the two breaths. And so, practice that until after a few days, you'll be born anew. This is just one of those things, to reach samadhi. For example, some people, they work very hard, or maybe they are jogging, or they're doing sport training, and then of course they're breathing heavily. Now maybe they even forget the 5 names, or forget the Suma Ching Hai Tzu, forget the Guan Yin. Of course you can't do Guan Yin when you're running. So the only thing the master suggests for them to do in that case is just to keep center between the 2 breaths, in and out. I think it's similar like what he has said before. It's too many, but never mind. We'll repeat again, it doesn't matter to me. So, if you are training for a few days like that, you become fresh, because of the concentration. Because you will feel much, much better in a very clear state of mind, without thinking of any confused and troublesome things. Then of course you'll be like a newborn infant, innocent, clean, fresh, and strong. Now, number 28. Another method is you may try to focus on fire rising through your own form from the toes until the body burns to ashes. But not you. It means just imagine. Okay, please don't don't burn your form, because that's the only thing you have right now. Until you get samadhi, please don't burn your body temple. Okay? What he meant was try to eliminate all kinds of attachments that belong to this ego self. Now, I am the President of the United States. I am the Congressman of America. I am the Chairman of China, etc., etc. So it's just a big position. Burn everything to ashes and remain real. Remain the only self, the Buddha nature, which never dies, is never born, and is always existing. That's what he meant. And don't burn yourself and say, Master Ching Hai say that. I have to state clearly, otherwise You put all things in my mouth. So, number 29, you could also meditate on the make-believe world as burning to ashes. Now he burns the whole world. And become being above human. Right, of course. That's why people call him the god of destruction. He destroys the human body and he even goes on burning the whole world. My goodness. If the police know him at that time, you know, huh? Now, just imagine, that's all right? You try to make a word and then burn the whole thing. Just to let your mind become used to the ephemeral nature of physical existence. Perhaps that's the purpose of this meditation method. So that you cannot cling to anything at all. And you cannot hide yourself in any corner of the world because the whole world is gone. At that time then, what do? Except to rise above the physical existence and become above human. Supra being. That is one of the ways to remind us of the non-existence of this world in order for us to put down easily, more easily, and become eager to practice and push our minds more forward into the spiritual freedom. Just like one of the methods the Buddha has recommended to his disciples is to pay attention to the defiling aspects of the body, like the secretion of the body, the ways of the body, things like that. And imagine that the body is made of white bones, and full of all the nasty and dirty things inside the filthy bag of skin. And if the disciple meditates on such method, he will soon grow disgusted with any physical form passing in front of him, and thus lose the desire for women or men, fame and position, etc., etc. And he will be able to still his turbulent, lustful thoughts and then be able to concentrate more on spiritual practice. In this respect, I think the number 29 meditation method is very similar to that of the defiling body method that the Buddha has recommended to some of his disciples. But in that case, you should also take note that these methods are only for beginners. For those who are still so attached to the possession of the world, so attached to the outside beauty of women and men. In that case, he should contemplate on this kind of method for a while, or at least when he is having such possessive and lustful thoughts for worldly physical forms and possessions, until his mind has grown accustomed to centering on the purity of the inside, instead of going around chasing after ephemeral forms of this physical existence. So, in that case, this is not the main method that we should be practicing every day, but just a passing period of time until our mind gets purified. And then we concentrate on the main method, which is the Kuan-Yin method. Now, if you remember, in the Suragama Sutra, the Buddha also asked all the bodhisattvas to recommend their different methods so that the disciples can pick and choose what's the best for them. And then all of them have spoken about more or less 25 methods. But then everyone has recommended that the Kuan-Yin is the best because it's the most purifying, the strongest, and the most original. But in case you are very disturbed with the worldly senses, which are entrapped in our body, and it's very difficult for us to escape, then you should consider contemplating on the defiling form of the body, or the world, the whole world burn into ashes, etc. method, to still your mind. Until your mind is calm, then you can concentrate better on the main method, which is the Kuan method. Understand? Okay. But you should also remember that in the old times, people had more time than now. I wonder why. In the old times, people have less facilities, and they have to do everything manually. But how come they have more time? You ask your mother, brother, and father, and grandmother, grandfather, they had more time than we do now. Yeah, they could sit with a neighbor and drink tea all afternoon and, and make fire and chat around. But now today we don't have. And we have fast cars, we have television, and we have aeroplanes faster than ever. But the more things we have, the less time we have. Perhaps because we have all these facilities, so we run after them. Yeah, we must work harder so we can obtain these fast-moving objects. And in the old times, they didn't have them, so they don't have to work so hard. They just have enough food to eat, 2 meals, 3 meals a day, and just a few clothes. They didn't go anywhere, so they don't have to show off their cleavage or their weight. 125 like mine. For example, so there was no need for expensive clothes, for very glorious perfume or a very, very elaborate hairdo, and no need for cars either, because they didn't need to go anywhere. They perhaps have less desire because they didn't know what does the next city have to offer. They didn't care. What they didn't know, they didn't bother with. They didn't desire. Is that not so?
Yes.
You should also remember that in the old times, people had more time than now. I wonder why. In the old times, people have less facilities, and they have to do everything manually. They just have enough food to eat, 2 meals, 3 meals a day, and just a few clothes. They didn't go anywhere, so they don't have to show off their cleavage or is that right? Or their waist. 125 like mine. For example, so there was no need for expensive clothes, for very glorious perfume or a very, very elaborate hairdo, and no need for cars either, because they didn't need to go anywhere. They perhaps have less desire because they didn't know what does the next city have to offer. They didn't care. What they didn't know, they didn't bother with. They didn't desire. Is that not so?
Yes.
Nowadays, it's not the poverty that makes people suffer, because poverty exists from time immemorial. It's not the poverty that is very disturbing nowadays anymore, but it is the richness of the neighbors that is disturbing. What you don't have is not that disturbing. It's what they have that disturbs you. Therefore, there is a joke that says a woman, she's allergic to diamonds. Whenever she sees diamonds on another woman's body, she feels sick. Yeah, that's a problem, because the mind always compares. Whatever he doesn't have and the neighbors have, that makes him sick. If he doesn't have and the neighbor doesn't have either, no problem. Because we have illusions all the time. We think if all the rich people, their money, come to our pockets, then we become as rich as them. But it's not so. It's not so the theory. The theory may be like that, but the practice is not. Because if we sit there and eat the money, doesn't matter how big the bank is, even if it's as high as Mount Sumi in India, you still one day eat it all off. Eat it all down, make it flat, like the lake in Sihu here. And maybe even dig a hole into the earth with our eating and sitting. Yeah? So God gives us equally the brain and the equipment of the same body. So everyone has the opportunity and has the duty to make themselves rich and comfortable. At least have enough and be comfortable. Not to take away somebody else's possessions, which maybe they worked very hard to earn, or maybe their parents worked very hard to earn and left it to them. Or God has given it to them. Or they have given it to themselves due to their own very meritorious deeds in the previous many lifetimes. So if we want to be rich, it's not to rob someone else of richness and give it to ourselves, but to work harder, to use our intelligence, to become wiser, more intelligent, to learn in every way possible to change our lives. And also to do more good deeds, more charitable acts, so that the merit will rebound back to us. If not this life, then perhaps next, or perhaps to our children. Human nature is not so easy to control, because they know they have been have, before. They have been the have before. So now if you strip them off naked, they will try again to make the have again. And the intelligence you cannot rob them from. And once a human has the intelligence, the talent to make business going, to earn money through business in investments, then they continue to do that in secret, in illegal means, or in any other worst way possible to get back the have status for themselves. It's a human nature to always strive for better, and should not stand still or should not be contented with the worst situation. God has made all this world rough and terrible so that we can make it right. Just like you go into a shop to buy painting colors and brushes. The paint, the oil colors and the brushes are nothing to look at. But these are the tools you should use to make a beautiful picture for yourself to enjoy, and you enjoy doing it while it lasts still. Not only when it has finished and become a beautiful picture, but while you are doing the painting, you relax, you enjoy, and you're happy because your creativity has grown into something visible. Okay? So similarly, do not blame God for the misery of this world. Do not blame God for the black pig that is not colorful. You just paint him. For example, like that, okay? So, if you're not satisfied with the life that you think God has put you in, then change. Try your best to change. And if even when you die, you haven't changed anything, at least you died trying to change. Then maybe after you die, you find your finished result in heaven. Yeah, well, comfort yourself, huh? Now, we can go on and on and on forever about this, about this creativity in the world. So you understand now. I talking about creativity here, number 30. Feel the fine qualities of creativity permeating your breast and assuming delicate configurations. What is that? Okay, let's forget it. Yeah, that's an easy way, okay? Number 31. Okay, let number 30 become your koan, okay? Whoever can solve it, I give you some cookies. Number 31, with intangible breath in center of the forehead, my God. As this reaches heart at the moment of sleep, have direction over dreams and over death. Well, I think Shiva is a very humorous master. At least he gives her some jokes, even though many thousands of years have passed. Okay. At least he's more funny than Jesus. Oh, I'm not sorry. I mean somebody else. Wrong name spoken. I forgot that he's still around. It's only the 27th, huh? 27th yet, yeah. It's not yet New Year, so... Sorry, guys. Yeah, we just had Christmas a couple of days back. Oh, have some good laugh anyhow. Don't be so serious. All right, so I think we just leave it and go to go to number 32. I think you all understand better than I, so let's pretend that I also understood. So we don't have to talk about it anymore, since we all done through. Now number 32. As subjectively, we're getting more complicated each day. I think I will leave him all together. Fancy staying in the Himalayas. So simple the abode, and talk so complicated like this. As subjectively, letters flow into words, and words into sentences. And as objectively, circles flow into words, and words into principles. Find yourself at last these converging in our being. Oh, I would like to have words and sentences all over my being. Okay, never mind. If you understand it, you practice it. I don't want. I don't want anything to do with it. Oh my God. He's trying to be mysterious, yeah, so that we would think he's great. Anybody who speaks something that people don't understand, they always think, wow, that person is great. At least we have some good laugh, huh? Yeah. Number 33. Gracious one, play the universe is an empty shell wherein your mind frolics infinitely. Oh, that we understood. Huh? That is okay. Huh? Well, if we could have a universe as an empty shell is not bad. Huh? It's big enough for us to frolic around. Huh? All right, you understand or not? No? So easy. Now, just think the universe is an empty shell. Is that easy enough?
They don't know how to frolic.
And then you run.
They don't know how to frolic.
They don't know how to frolic. You show him.
We're doing it now.
What?
This is frolicking.
Yeah. Just run around, laughing, joking, and, playing football with Jesus. And dare the Buddha to play baseball, things like that. See how they react. I bet they don't know how to play this. It's a new invention of Americans. Okay. Just play around in the universe as your own house. Yeah? An empty house, an empty shell, and you run around in it. Do anything you want. Let yourself wander and, see whatever in it. It's all empty anyhow. It's very easy. Number 34. Look upon a bowl without seeing the sides of the material. Yeah, for example, this is a bowl that you eat the rice from, and don't see the size of the bowl. That's easy enough? Yes. In a few moments, then you become aware. Aware of what? I don't know. It's just say become aware. Aware of the bowl. Of the rice inside. That it doesn't spill out because the bowl is without the brim. So you be aware of the rice. Then it doesn't fall out, okay? And otherwise you have nothing to eat. That's very important practice here in Shihu. Especially on retreat on Sunday when many thousands of people I have the empty bowl and look at yours, Because the kitchen team, sometimes they cannot cook. They don't know how much is enough, Depends. The cooking team varies. It's different every weekend. So sometimes people are generous, they cook a lot. And other people say, enough. I know a nun here. She always recites the same mantra every weekend, over and over again. Enough. So I taught her another mantra to cure her sickness. But she always, because of karma, habit or thinking, recites the same mantra. Go lala. So I asked her to go on to a retreat and, practice that method for herself. Otherwise, every weekend people don't have enough food, and I don't like people to come to my house and eat and are only half filled. All right? As she doesn't change. She's too old to change. Yeah, some people are pretty old in their habit. They just don't change. It's not that they are bad or they are against you or that they are not willing to change. They're just too old to change. That's why many in the Catholic order or Christian order, they don't receive people above 30 because it's harder to train people after they are set in any pattern of habit or way of life. Capiche? Okay, now, number 35. Abide in some place endlessly spacious, clear of trees, hills, habitations. Thence comes the end of mind pressures. Okay, this you understand, right? Like you stay in a very hilly mountain, all around you is only hills and skies, no people, and no trees because you stay on the top of the mountain. And you can see clearly all over around you, above you, and under you. So you don't feel pressure. Most of the people in the city, they live very closely, knit together, and thus they feel a lot of pressure sometimes. Sometimes you do, huh? That's why they need to go to the countryside, to the mountains, to ski, or to the river to swim, or to the beach. But there they have a crowd again, because everybody flocks there. So there's no end to crowds in this world. People like to live in a city, crowded places, for security reasons and for a job, for human contact. and for convenience in buying and exchanging things, etc., etc. But everything has a cost in this life. Yeah. So if you live in a crowded city, it's very convenient for buying and selling, and for finding anything, for entertainment, for seeing people, and for eating and dancing and making merry. Okay. But also there is a cost of being pressured, because each one doesn't have enough space for each other. Sometimes you feel like the other's pressure is contagious. Yeah, it is invading your privacy as well. Even though you have wars between each other, it doesn't stop the pressure from the neighbors coming in. That's why most of the people who practice, they like to stay in a very remote place, like the desert. Like Lord Jesus went to the desert for 40 days. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree in the jungle for 49 days, etc. And Prophet Muhammad went into a cave for a month or two, etc. I heard, I'm not sure, I didn't ask him. And many masters stay in the Himalayas, for example, at least for a period of time, to understand what they want to understand. And later they will spread what they understood to the whole world, if they are merciful enough. Yeah? And if they like to put up with people's bad habits and the pressure themselves. Yes. So that's very easy to understand, And then slowly the pressure of the mind has ceased to exist. But mind you, you must know which company you are with as well. Sometimes you bring some people, and the people you brought, the ones who are near and dear to you, sometimes are the pressure themselves. So some sayings say that the worst enemies are the ones who pretend to be your friends. Because they are your friends, so you never suspect them. In Vietnam, when the country was under the name Âu Lạc, you remember? There was the king who is almighty, or almighty on earth, compared to other kings, and not compared to the almighty Father in heaven, because he had maybe aliens helping him. Well, what I suspect is that, they say there was a kind of a saintly, spirit, a spirit of a tortoise, who helped him, and advised him in many state matters. And now this spirit of the turtle, in the fairy tales we have all kinds of animals who are better than humans, like foxes, turtles, the dragons, snakes, because the humans are stupid. They think some of the animals are better than them. But never mind, just let's make this story into an example only. So it was supposed to be that the turtle's spirit, this is a turtle above other ordinary turtles, But in the ancient times, until now, the Asian people, especially the Chinese and the Vietnamese, they still think turtles are very sacred animals because they live very long. And sometimes they understand things, so they dare not kill these animals. Of course, there's some truth in it. Just like before, the Vietnamese or the fishermen, they worship dolphins. Or not the killer whales, the friendly whales. Yes, because sometimes during the storm and danger like that, typhoon, the whales or the dolphins, we help them to guide their boats and push their boats back into safety. Sometimes they push human beings too, who drown in the water, back out of water. Therefore, fish such as this, they never killed. And if some happen to die accidentally, or if they know it, they will make a tomb for that whale or dolphin and worship them day and night, the fishermen, or those people who swim in the sea for that reason. There are some animals who are extremely intelligent, of that there is no doubt, and we know that too. Even pigs, the house pets, they are known for their quality of faithfulness, loyalty, friendliness, and helpfulness in time of trouble. Many on your newspapers print every day some miracles done by animals, like dogs who rescue children from burning houses, a pig pray many miles to fetch a rescue for his owner, or a horse staying at the tomb of his master until his death and never ate anything, or some dog never left the tomb of his master, etc., etc. Huh? So many things. Yeah. So it's not funny that humans sometimes think that the animals are better than us. Yeah. Yeah. In some aspects, it could be true. After all beings are created by God anyhow. So why would they have the God spark inside them like we do? Just because they're in a different form and they use a different language, it doesn't mean they are in any way less worthy than us. Is that not so? Yes. Mm-hmm. Just like the African people, they are black and they speak the African language, but that by no means says that they are less worthy than the white American or the yellow Asian. Yes. Okay, right. Now, what was it then? Number 36, right? Okay, now 36. Here it comes again. Romantic, sweet, sing-song language. I have to prepare my voice for the romantic tone. Sweet-hearted one. That's what he called her. Meditate on knowing and not knowing, existing and not existing. Then leave both aside, that you may be. You know what be is? That you may be. Be yourself, yeah? Okay. Because knowing, not knowing, and knowledge and ignorance and good and bad and ugly and beauty, all this will make trouble. So he said, you may contemplate on both, yeah? Knowing or not knowing, existing and non-existing. Contemplate on both if you like, but then leave both alone. And that is so that you may be the real self. The one without good, bad, without discrimination. The one that always exists, always pure, always real. Capiche? Yeah. Just pretend that you do so I can go on to the next, otherwise I'm tired. You know, I'm very good at being tired. Especially with all this intellectual thing. Oh, my mind keeps tricking me all the time. It gives me 2 days notice. And I still have not wanted to do this job. Today, I didn't intend to do it either, but that's how I do it. If I tell my mind, okay, tomorrow we're going to explain all these sutras and all that Bible, then he drops dead. Yesterday, I was supposed to explain, the remaining or part of it to you, remember? Yes. But then I'm dead. I'm dead until this day. And today I don't say anything. Not even to myself. As I'm not going to do anything, I'm just running around. I'm just golfing around. And then I came here and didn't even tell him that I intend to gather the people. I didn't tell the mind that I'm going to do anything. I just said to the telephone, gather people in 5 minutes. Before he knows. Before the mind knew, I already sat here and led around with all this. So that's how we came to this. So better I don't promise anything. Because the mind doesn't like to work. Not on this intellectual confusion. Read books and explaining and all that. Well, at least I can read books, no? I'm a scholar. I'm a scholar. Now, number 37. You may look, intensively, tensely, or lovingly on one object. Just look lovingly, relaxedly is the best. Like this, maybe. And just look at that. Don't go on to any other object. In other words, concentration. Is that not so? One-pointedness. Yeah. Mindfulness. That's all the same thing. And then here, in the middle of this object, the blessing. You'll probably find it. That's why people in the old times, they used crystal balls. Yeah? And they read something in the future or whatever they desired to know. It is true. Not that all the people who gaze at the crystal ball will be able to speak the truth or to know the future, but many of them do. Yeah? Of course, it's just like you gaze into something, then your mind is clear because you're concentrated on that object, on that subject. And then you find out what's happening in a very far away, remote corner of the earth or many thousands of miles apart. Yeah? This is not kind of superstition. It is just a mind concentrating matter, and everyone can achieve that if we want to. So this is just one of the things that has an effect. Yeah, if you concentrate sometimes on a shining object like a coin or a watch, Swiss watch, Rolex would be better. The more money, the higher the consciousness. You'll be higher aware of the price. Okay, maybe, I'm not sure. Just joking, huh? I don't work for Rolex company, I don't misunderstand. But everybody tells me that they like Rolex, so I don't know why, so I just bought it on for you. If you like it so much, then borrow one and meditate on it, or draw a picture of it. Or get one that they advertise on the newspapers and concentrate on it. Maybe you get one. Right. And then when you concentrate on one object like this without divided attention, then of course you will enter a state of clarity. And then of course whatever you want to know, you know. Or at least if you don't want to know anything, then you enter the blessed field of God, the Samadhi, in another word. Blessed field, enter the blessing, enter the kingdom of God, enter the real being, enter the Buddha nature, is all the same thing. Right? Food for the soul. That's what it is. Number 38. Feel the cosmos as translucent, ever-living presence. If you can feel that, it's fine. Yeah? If you cannot feel it, you better recite the 5 names and concentrate on the wisdom eye. It's just one of those imagination techniques, you know, like many of the Tibetans, they do. They use this similar kind of technique, imagination or feeling, right? Like you sit here and feel the Buddha is on top of you, or imagine the Buddha is on top of you, it's similar. Yeah? Until you really feel it. So many people use this technique of imagination to create the real thing. Right? They even create a person out of their imagination. Sometimes it's very bad. If you can't control the person of your creation, then they run around and do bad things, sometimes kill you. Just like Frankenstein. Number 39. With utmost devotion, center on the 2 junctions of breath and know the knower. Got it? Do you know? No. Just try to concentrate on the coming in and coming out of the breath in the middle of the 2. Then you know the knower. The knower means your true self, the one who knows, the real Buddha within you. All right. Let's stop here, okay? Because I already feel like I want to know the knower right now. So I think you should meditate, okay? And know the knower. And perhaps someday, don't say tomorrow, okay? Or my mind will drop dead again. Perhaps someday we will continue with all this. Oh my God. We are only not even halfway yet. 1/3. Already a lot, huh? Talking about practitioners having nothing to do. All right. Close your lights outside and turn on the inner light. you.